Coin Collector Hub channel. Welcome back, collectors and coin enthusiasts, to another incredible deep dive here at Coin Collector Hub, the place where history meets hidden treasure. Today, we're unearthing the fascinating tale of a tiny copper coin that packs a massive punch, the 1962 D1 cent Liberty coin. At first glance, it might just look like your ordinary penny, but what if I told you this humble cent could be worth a jaw-dropping $213 million in today's collector's market? Stick around, you don't want to miss this story. Let's turn the clock back to the year 1962, a time when America was booming post-World War II. President John F. Kennedy was in the White House, the Cold War was heating up, and Beatlemania was about to take over the world. But in the midst of it all, over at the Denver Mint, a seemingly simple coin was born. The 1962 D. Lincoln cent. This penny wasn't just currency, it was part of a larger movement. You see, the Lincoln cent had already been circulating since 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's side profile, the first time a real person, let alone a president, appeared on a U.S. coin used for everyday spending. By 1962, the Lincoln cent had become a staple of American pockets. But this year marked a turning point. The U.S. was gearing up for more modernization in coinage. And buried in the sea of billions produced, a few rare gems from the Denver Mint would go on to become legends. The 1962 D. Lincoln cent is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing in at 3.11 grams. On the obverse, you have the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1962, accompanied by the small but mighty D mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. Flip it over, and you'll see the classic wheat ears reverse, a design that was last used in 1958. So wait, what's on the reverse of the 1962 D? That's right, the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which replaced the wheat design in 1959 and added incredible detail, including a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. In 1962, the Denver Mint produced an astounding 1,793,148,400 Lincoln cents. Yes, you heard that right, over 1.7 billion coins. That makes the 1962 D one of the most heavily minted coins of its time. So how could a coin with such high production numbers possibly be worth a fortune? Here's where things get interesting. Among those billions, a handful of error coins, pristine condition strikes, and rare varieties were unknowingly released into circulation. These coins, due to their rarity, quality, or both, have become some of the most sought-after specimens by collectors today. So what should you be looking for in your 1962 D penny? Let's break it down. Double die obverse, some 1962 D cents exhibit doubling in the date and lettering. These are highly collectible and can fetch thousands depending on condition. Repunched mint marks. Several 1962 D coins were struck with visible mint mark errors, like a second D slightly off-center. These are known as RPM varieties, and depending on the variety and grade, some can command four-figure prices. Striking errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die cracks are all known in 1962 D cents. The rarer and more dramatic the error, the higher the value. As with all coins, condition is king. A circulated 1962 D penny in average shape might only fetch a few cents to a few dollars. But in uncirculated condition, we're talking MS65 and higher, the game changes entirely. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC at MS67 red can sell for $500 to $3,000 or more, especially if they are top population examples. There have been auction records of premium specimens reaching even higher when combined with error varieties or unique provenance. Despite its massive mintage, finding a 1962 D Lincoln cent in perfect condition is rare, especially in the wild. That's why coin roll hunters, estate sale shoppers, and flea market pickers are always on the lookout. Even more exciting, many people unknowingly have one of these hidden in jars, drawers, or old piggy banks. A coin that cost just 1 cent in 1962 could now fund an entire house, depending on its grade and rarity. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, How can a coin like this be valued at $213 million? Well, here's the theory: certain ultra-rare varieties, such as pattern coins, unintentional off-metal strikes, or proof-like coins that never reached the public, could exist. If discovered, authenticated, and proven to be one of a kind, the value becomes virtually priceless. Collectors have already paid over $100,000 for less rare cents. So imagine if a coin existed that combined a flawless mint state, a unique error, and a verified rarity of only one known to exist. Now you're in nine-figure territory. That's the legend behind the $213 million 1962 cent. It's not just a coin, it's a once-in-a-lifetime relic. So next time you get change back from the store, take a second look. That penny might be more than just copper, it might be history in your hand. Have you ever found a rare Lincoln cent in your collection? Let us know in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe for more treasure hunts, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on the next $1 million mystery right here at Coin Collector Hub. Until next time, keep collecting, keep dreaming, and keep searching for the next hidden gem. Would you like a thumbnail title and description to go with this video too? Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1969 1 cent Liberty coin, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but oh no, it holds secrets, stories, and a potential value that will leave you speechless. So grab your magnifying glass and let's uncover why this little copper beauty could be worth up to $213 million in today's market. To truly appreciate the 1969 Lincoln cent, we have to go back to the origins of this iconic coin. The Lincoln cent series began in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. By 1969, the Lincoln cent had been in circulation for 60 years. The design had been slightly modified over time, but the iconic portrait of Lincoln remained. Now, the D mint mark on this coin signifies it was minted in Denver, Colorado. In 1969, Denver was a major mint facility that produced over 4 billion Lincoln cents, but here's the twist: among those billions, a few unique errors and varieties slipped through the cracks, and that's where the treasure hunt begins. In the late 60s, the U.S. economy was shifting. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, the counterculture was rising, and inflation was beginning to creep in. Every cent counted. And that made coins like this even more significant in everyday life. Let's break down the coin's features. Obverse the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words "I and God We Trust" above, Liberty to the left, and the date 1969 to the right with the D mint mark below. Reverse the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. If you look closely, you can even spot the tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, a beautiful touch of detail, composition. In 1969, the cent was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. That's heavier than modern cents, which after 1982 were mostly made of zinc, edge, smooth. As with all Lincoln cents, these copper coins have aged with grace, and some of them, with rare errors or perfect preservation, are now worth serious money. Now, let's get into the juicy part: the rare varieties and errors of the 1969 D penny. Unlike the Philadelphia minted 1969 Lincoln cent, which had a famous double die obverse, the 1969 D didn't have that same dramatic doubling. But collectors still hunt for RPMs, repunched mint marks. These are cases where the D was punched more than one stud off center strikes. If the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting, part of the design is missing, making it very collectible. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors around the world. I'm talking about none other than the 1982 1 cent Liberty coin, a tiny copper-colored beauty with a massive legacy and a jaw-dropping market value of $213 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick around as we uncover the mysterious history, variations, errors, and why this coin could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Let's rewind to the early 1980s. America was undergoing a series of economic challenges: rising inflation, a volatile metal market, and the rising cost of minting coins. In fact, by 1982, it cost the U.S. Mint more than 1 cent to produce a penny. That's right, Our beloved 1-cent coin was costing taxpayers more than its face value to create, so a major change was on the horizon. Until that point, most pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, but copper prices were soaring. So, halfway through 1982, the US Mint made the decision to switch from copper to a cheaper alternative, a zinc core coated in copper plating. But here's the twist: 1982 became the year of two compositions, copper pennies and zinc pennies, and the Denver Mint, designated by the D mint mark, was a huge player in this transition. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There are 7 known varieties of the 1982 penny: 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, 1982 D large date zinc, 1982 D large date copper, 1982 D small date copper. But one version, the 1982 D large date copper penny, became the holy grail of modern US coin collecting. Why? Because Denver was only supposed to mint zinc pennies in 1982. So when copper versions surfaced with a Denver mint mark, the coin world was shocked. While most 1982 pennies are still only worth face value or a few cents over that, some varieties of the 1982 D 1-cent coin have sold for huge money at auctions. In 2016, a 1982 D large date copper penny was sold at auction for $18,800. And since then, as more collectors hunt for these coins, market value has skyrocketed. Some experts now estimate the true collector value of pristine, rare varieties, especially in MS-67 grade or higher, at well over $213 million collectively if a hoard were to be discovered. Let that sink in. A single penny, minted in Denver in 1982, might be one of the most valuable modern coins in circulation today. Now you're probably asking, how do I know if I have the rare one? Great question. Here's a checklist to help you out. Look for the D mint mark under the date. Determine the date style, large date versus small date. Check the composition. A copper penny weighs 3.11 grams. A zinc penny weighs only 2.5 grams. Use a precise digital scale to weigh the coin. If it's a 1982 D large date and weighs around 3.11 grams, jackpot. Lastly, check the condition. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by NGC or PCGS will command a much higher premium. And don't forget about mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet issues could push the value even higher. While you might not be able to buy a yacht with every 1982 D penny you find, circulated examples still hold value to collectors, especially if they're rare varieties or in high-grade condition. Circulated versions typically fetch between 10 cents to $10, depending on type and where, but certified mint state versions, especially the copper ones with a D mint mark, can bring in hundreds, thousands, or potentially more depending on future demand. So, where does that massive $213 million figure come from? Well, collectors believe that if a sizable hoard of the rare 1982 D large date copper coins exists and enters the marketplace, the total value could easily exceed $213 million, due to their scarcity, historical importance, and investor interest. Plus, with digital collectibles, coin auctions, and numismatic shows booming post-2020, rare coins like this have seen exponential increases in demand. Some high-end collectors are even offering six-figure rewards for specific certified examples. Now that's serious money for a penny. So, if you're holding on to a jar of old pennies, go grab it. Dust it off. You just might be sitting on a piece of American history worth a small fortune, and if you find a 1982 D 1-cent Liberty coin, especially one that's copper, large date, and in top shape, you could be the next lucky collector to strike it rich. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you've ever found a 1982 D penny worth anything more than face value. Until next time, keep your eyes open, and your coins closer.